Hi guys, Tammy with NurseMinder here, and today we're going to be talking about COVID testing. In particular, we're going to break down some of the myths and give some facts about what COVID testing is and is not right after this. Welcome back. My name is Tammy and this is NurseMinder, and on this channel we do everything nursing. So if you're new here, consider subscribing below so that you get the next video when it's released. So you're going for COVID testing and you've watched some videos maybe on how they're going to do the test. So by now you likely know that we're going to do either an oral swab or we're going to do one up your nose, and you've probably got a preference for either one. And I will share with you that the type of swab we use really just depends on what is sent over to us. So we actually don't really know day to day which one we're going to be able to offer. That aside, this video is not about showing you how the test will be conducted. It's rather more focused on what the test can do and tell you. So the first myth that I often hear, let me just take a moment back and set the stage, shall we? I do work as a swabber, and these opinions do not reflect my employer. And I run the gamut of emotions. I have been on one side where I am in complete awe and amazement of the moral obligation that people feel to come and get tested. So in our province, we have open testing, which means anyone who's curious, wants to come, can have a test, which is fabulous. And we see approximately anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people a day in the site that I work at most commonly. That's a lot of people. And so I get a lot of moments where I can talk with people and understand what they believe this test to be and what they don't understand about this test. Now, in terms of COVID testing, what does this swab actually do? Why am I going for this? So first of all, you may be going because you have some symptoms. The most common symptoms we're looking for are those that are consistent with flu-like symptoms. So our cough, our fever, runny nose, shortness of breath, and sore throat. If you have those here in Alberta, you are required to isolate while you wait for your results. And I don't know if everybody knows that. So if you come in because you have seasonal allergies, maybe you have a chronic cough, or you have medications where the side effect might be that runny nose, prepare to isolate. And I think that's one of the myths, or maybe are under-communicated items out there. One of the most common things we hear when people come into the Bay is, I'm here because I want to make sure I'm safe. Now I can share with you, safety is a very broad term and not something that we're really looking at testing when you come in for COVID, in the sense in which people frame it. So let me give you background. When I ask people what brought them in today, so why did they come today for COVID? Often they'll say, well, I'm just curious, or I want to make sure I'm safe. I appreciate both of those. And I think sometimes when people say, I just want to make sure I'm safe, they're just not articulating really the full sentiment there. But I hear it so often throughout the day that I thought it was worthy of a few conversations. So safety in the moment you're with me, I can give you information on. But I can't tell you what happened in the past 2 weeks, and I can't tell you what's going to happen the moment you leave my bay. And so when people say they want to know that they're safe so they can go and visit grandma, that they're safe so that they can go and attend a wedding, that they're safe so that they can travel to another province, or they've just come back from and they want to make sure they're safe to go back into their household with their family, I really feel like a lot of education is needed in that moment to make sure people understand that this test is not about safety in the future. It's about right now. This moment, do you have COVID? So when it comes to safety, there's a lot more to ensuring your safety than having a COVID screening swab done. It means wear your mask when you can't maintain your 6 feet apart. It means wash your hands, and it means distancing. Okay, so when you're going to these functions to be with people, really be mindful that that swabbing test does not give you permission to ignore all of these. So I'll give you my spiel about what the COVID test is and is not. this is an important element because we have a lot of people coming in who are not informed. I don't feel it's well explained out there as to what this test really is. And so here it goes. When you sit in my bay, I'm going to talk to you about how this particular test, this swab that we're going to do today, is a point-in-time assessment. What does that mean? It means, do you have the COVID virus today, in this moment where you are sitting with me? And why is that important? Well, the research shows us that we know it takes up to 14 days for a body to launch a response. So anywhere in the previous 2 weeks before you've come to see me, if you've had contact with the virus, your body may or may not have a response at this point. And in particular, we do get some people who come in and it will be, we just saw some people last night and went out for dinner and we want to make sure we're safe today. The test is not going to tell you that you're safe for the future. It's going to tell you, do you have COVID today? And we know that it usually takes 3 to 5 days for a person to actually show signs of the infection. And so if you just saw somebody last night, no. This test is not going to show that you are safe because it will take you up to 2 weeks to know if that one encounter was problematic for you. So just think about that. All the encounters you have in a 2-week time frame, going to check the mail, going to buy your milk, accepting a delivery at the door, taking care of your kids who are out at the neighbors playing, happen to walk past somebody outdoors and there's a breeze, and so we know that particles will travel farther in a breeze. There's so many potential ways and places that you can come in contact with not just COVID. We talk a lot about COVID right now. There's a lot of other illnesses that are passed on in this manner. But the moment you sit down with me in my bay, I'm only assessing that moment. So that means the moment you leave my bay, the test result that you're going to get in 3 days or 4 days or 5 days is already obsolete. Okay? Because from the moment you leave, I don't know who you've come in contact with. I don't know what's going on with you. And you may already be infected from another source. And in a few days, you can become symptomatic and go on to develop COVID. So it's important that people know point in time really means we're taking a picture right then and there. It's like taking an x-ray. Do you have a broken bone today? Some people have a broken bone and don't even know it. And they come in and they get an x-ray and they go, you broke your bone. And some people, as soon as they leave, they're going to slip and trip and fall and they're going to break their bone. But in the moment with me, do you have a broken bone? That's really what we're assessing for COVID. Do you have the virus today? Well, I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about what the COVID test is and is not, and what we might be asking of you when you come in. Don't forget the 3 pillars of prevention: masking, hand hygiene, and social distancing. See you at the swabbing station. Hey, I know you're probably not ready to get off your phone or go back to work just yet, or maybe even turn the lights off to go to sleep. So why don't you spend a little bit more time here watching another video?